Welcome back. Now to our next conversation. The federal government of Nigeria disclosed that it had commenced process of review of the Land Use Act, which according to experts will improve the country's economic growth and well-being of its people. Well, let's speak to a stakeholder in the real estate industry in Nigeria. We have Dr. MKO Balogun, Group Chief Executive Officer, Global PFI, join us via Zoom. Great to have you on the program.
Good to have you. I'm happy to be on the program. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So, first of all, what are the challenges with the Act right now?
Yeah, as you know, for every law, this was promulgated in 2004. The last one, it's already 18 years. The initial one was in 1978. The purpose of the Act basically was to enable the use of land as an asset for development. Definitely, time has passed. A lot of issues have come up that needs to be looked at, and I think it's the right time for government to have a look at the Act and see what needs to change.
And looking at it right now, we know most of the powers are vested, on the state governors, but
Yes.
Are they not doing a good job as it is?
Yeah, every state has the authority based on the Act to, govern over land for the good of the people and businesses within their state. They have tried their best, and I'm sure a lot of states have, had laws to support the, implementation of the Act. And Lagos had, promulgated 2 other, laws to support the implementation of the Act. So I think, just like every law, time has passed. There are, a lot of things to relook at, stakeholders concerned, impact on the economy, of the use of land, and what more can we do with the Land Use Act. And I think it is the right time for a look at it.
All right. Once the review actually, happens, what can we expect would be in the new Act?
I think basically first is to step back. As I said, why do we have the Act in the first place? Is it achieving its objective? Are we maximizing the opportunities that land presents for Nigeria across the states? And what are the issues currently that we're facing in each area of the use of the Act, of the implementation of the Act? Those are the things that we expect the review to do. There have been a couple of concerns about whether, just like you asked, whether the states are actually, implementing or allowing the Act to serve its purpose. My belief and my sense is that the review, after the review has been done, the new Act will address most of the concerns that have been raised in the industry and for stakeholders.
All right, who are the stakeholders you think will be involved in this review process? Will it just be the government?
Land is a major component for economic development. So government cannot sit on reviewing, an act on their own. There are a lot of stakeholders involved, from manufacturing to real estate to engineering to everybody who has impact or use of land that will be part of the agencies of groups that the government will want to talk to. Typically, my sense or my experience is that when an act or a law is being reviewed, governments always get involved with all stakeholders within that space to get their input and see what more can be done to ensure that the law, the new act that was promulgated, we address all the issues that have been identified.
And what are stakeholders like yourself? What are you prescribing to be added to the law?
I think part of the concern has always been the issue of land grabbing, and I know Lagos has done a couple of things around that. It's been a lot to address that. Whether the Act will be able to, will be used to do that at the national level. It's a conversation that needs to be had at the review stage. But the opportunity for land to be an asset, as it were, for development and economic growth is an area that requires complete review and understanding. In Nigeria, for instance, I know a lot of concerns have been raised about accessibility, affordability, the laws around, and the process of land approvals and land permits across the federation areas that whether it is possible to extend it beyond just the state defining what needs to happen, and at the heart taking responsibility of some of the things that needs to be put in place for the states to implement. So my sense is those are the things that they have to be looking at. In terms of value, value is transient. You cannot, at the national level, even at the state level, fix, what value a land will be. But accessibility is a critical component for land and the process of land acquisition. The major component that I'm sure the review of the Act will look into.
All right, we'll be watching out for the review and the content. But now we know major economies in the world are, battling inflation right now. Even right here in Nigeria, we've seen the central bank, raise rates. The last one was 150 basis points. And obviously we know this impacts, the housing market. What's it like right now?
I think the issue of inflation is global, as you mentioned. Yes, definitely it will affect every sector, and real estate will not be left out in that impact. Also, you can look from two ends. The development end, where the cost of development will increase, and thereby also increasing the output cost for users and investors in the real estate space. Also users, it becomes a challenge because you're going to have double impact, cost goes up, your availability also reduces. So it becomes a challenge. Everybody in the industry rethinking the model on what to do to, at least in the interim. We don't expect that inflation will continue to skyrocket as it's going. We expect stability, mid next year or thereabout, and we expect that to also provide some impact. And there are some interventions that is already happening on the mortgage space to see how we can increase flow of cash into the real estate through mortgage financing from pension funds. And these are also part of the things I believe will help and reduce the impact of inflation on the development. But in terms of pricing, there's hardly anything anybody can do at this stage because the input cost will definitely go up, and with that, your cost of sale, the cost of development will increase. It's probably good for investors. Start thinking about whether this is the time to maintain their investment or divest or hold on to what they've had and see what happens subsequently.
And we're seeing, I noticed yesterday, I was checking prices of properties right now. I remember at some point, not the distant past, I knew like detached houses in, say, Chevron used to cost about 50 to 60 million or 70 million. But now, I saw incredible prices yesterday. I saw one going for about 140 million naira for a detached house. And I'm wondering, affordability is going to be a big issue right now. How's demand actually looking?
So in terms of pricing has been a big issue in the market for some time. I thought back as probably 10, 12 months as the economy is struggling, inputs cost has not changed. Yes, that would lead to increase in cost of housing. In terms of demand, definitely demand has not been same. We're not better. Real estate has always struggled in terms of ability to mop up, development and turn around what has been developed for ease of cash. So the challenge will remain, as I mentioned. We don't expect any changes on both ends, and in terms of cost of properties increasing, as well as the affordability. We hope that as things, some of the initiatives come to play, that will help affordability on the other side, where we look at innovative ways of development that will help cost of development to come down.
And what about the supply side? Are the developers still able to supply properties at the same level they used to?
Yes, development, is always tied to two ways: demand as well as available funds. So a lot of developers in our market tend more towards when there's fund. The easiest way to put your fund is in real estate. What means that if the market is not ready, you have to wait out until the market is ready for you to be able to get benefit from investment. But that has not changed the fact that development will continue. And you will see all the major areas of Lagos, especially development is continuing both on the commercial, retail, and the residential spaces. So we've also seen uptakes in the areas with regards to industrial warehouses. So development will continue. Nigeria is a good destination for inflow for real estate development. As I said, the challenge the market has always faced is affordability, and with the inflation that created more challenge. But with some of the initiatives coming into providing cash backup for mortgage, from pension, to support mortgage acquisition of property, that will also ease affordability.
Right, and I know the energy crunch too is another challenge, especially for facility managers. I know earlier this year we've seen how the cost of diesel has gone up. How are facility managers managing at this point? Is the market stabilizing?
I think what the energy crisis has taught everybody in the market is to look for alternative energy sources. In the past, all of us, we want 24 hours. We don't care how it comes. When the prices goes up, everybody started rethinking. The initial reaction was to, okay, let's reduce number of hours of operation, but subsequently, we need to operate your estate, we need to operate your building. What are the alternative opportunities? So currently, everybody is rethinking alternative power solutions, renewable energy, IPP in terms of embedded power across locations, talking to discos and see whether we can get better supply at reasonable rates rather than run generator. Generator itself is also an issue with sustainability, and so there are lots of conversations around what more to do, what different to do, and how to change the energy mix, especially within development. And those who are developing more are constantly rethinking what we need to do to ensure that we don't have increase in demand and use of normal energy sources because of renewables.
All right, so much to look out for there in that market. Thank you so much, Dr. MKO Balogun, GCO, Global PFI. It was great having your perspective on the show.